Palantir has come a long, long way. Remember when it DPO'd, remember when the stock went up and then went down and stayed down $6, $7. Nobody wanted to touch it. And then finally we got a breakthrough. Finally the stock went up, but more importantly, the company, the business started to do much, much better. Commercials started to grow, boot camps were launching, there were more and more boot camps, so commercial reaccelerated and continued to accelerate. And now we also have government reaccelerating as well. And so we have now full control of Palantir. Well, maybe not full control, but I mean, year to date, stock is up over 80%. We're now at a market cap of $71.84 billion. Yes, okay, if you look at forward PE, it might not be the cheapest one out there, far from it probably. 80.5 times, EV to sales 22.5 times, so definitely not the cheapest one out there. But if we look at the trend, this is the last 5 years. Revenue goes up, free cash flow becomes more meaningful, gross profit continues to go up, net income positive and growing. SBC as a percentage of revenue comes down, still high-ish, right? 20.7% in the last 12 months, but it is trending down. And also more importantly, revenue per employees in the last 12 months, of course, is trending up. So I could say all things are going in the right direction. So in this video, I just want to go over a couple of things that happened with Palantir more recently, talk about what happens next, right? Because we closed over $30. I mean, the stock is up close to 50% since that Black Monday. Quite good performance, right? In a matter of what, week or so? So yeah, let's talk about all of that. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you play the options game? Have you bought, sold? Let me know down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, do all of that. Would really appreciate all the support. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. So let's first start with a short recap here. This is from Emir. I leave his socials down in the comment section below. So you can see revenue for Palantir has accelerated. Of course, we're far away from what we had previously, but in my opinion, expecting 50% growth year over year is maybe asking a little bit too much. Getting closer to that 30% is, I think, what most of us are expecting, and it is trending this way. Of course, yeah, year over year comparisons are quite easy, right? Because, I mean, we saw a deceleration happening before. But when you look at commercial and government apart, revenue-wise, both of them have seen a reacceleration. So it's not just saying, oh, Palantir's commercial is doing very well, but government is slow. Yeah, maybe government is slower than commercial, but both segments of the business have reaccelerated. Of course, we know that government contracts, government revenues and all of that take longer than commercial because you're dealing with the government, but it's nice to see that both of those segments are reaccelerating. And of course, we know from last quarter, it was a pretty good quarter when it comes to net new deals. It's actually the second best quarter, the quarter with the most deals closed of at least $10 million. And I think top three here for deals closed of between 1 and 5 million. This was also the first time in a long, long time where average revenue per client, excluding top 20 customers, has gone up quarter over quarter. The reason why he excluded the top 20 customers in terms of revenue is because 3% of the customers in the top 20 account for 46% of all the revenue. Again, you can read all of Emir's article, post, links will be down in the description. I highly suggest you go follow him. Now, I do want to say something about stock and business. We've seen the business is doing well, right? That's in Palantir's control. The stock, not really in Palantir's control, because the stock in the short term can be undervalued, can be overvalued, can be extremely cheap for some, can be extremely expensive for others. You have to look at both of those. If the business is doing well, then fine, we're good to go. The stock can do what the stock will do in the short run. If the business is not doing well, that's where you need probably to panic. Maybe not panic, but do a little bit of self-reflecting of, whoa, maybe I should keep that stock or maybe I should sell that stock. With Palantir, yes, maybe the stock is expensive right now, but the business is doing well. You will see later in the video, I'll show you the chart. We're not actually overbought just yet. Now, switching to Palantir Commercial, more specific actually maybe Palantir Foundry, there was a conversation between an expert in the field and an analyst, and it talks here a little bit about the self-accelerating cycle for Palantir. So basically said, because more problems Foundry is solving, the more bootcamps you can offer with specific solutions, or you can show how a solution could look like ahead of time. The more you sell, the more you do, the more use cases you have under your belt, the more you can do these bootcamps more purposefully. This is why bootcamps are so important, and this is also why you're seeing that reacceleration. Now, we've talked about bootcamps, we've talked about Foundry, we've talked about AI, products, etc., etc. AI is, of course, a term that is now used for every single thing. Every company is mentioning AI everywhere, as if nothing else exists. Now, to be honest, we've been talking about AI for quite a while. We've also been talking about the fact that many companies are spending millions, if not billions of dollars on AI, so-called AI products. Maybe it works in the short run, but in the long run, if you're paying for something where you're not seeing results, where the return on investment is not worth it for you, you will stop spending, or you will switch to a solution that actually works, software that actually works. How? Why? Well, we've talked about Palantir Ontology, why that is a must, why that works, and why you need it. Basically, why you need it. That video will be in the top right corner. But in short, what we have had for years and years are, well, the promises of cloud providers that will solve all of your issues, right? So the cloud promised cost savings, flexibility, and innovation. However, it often delivered higher cost, complexity, and fragmented solutions. Companies now realize that simply accumulating tools isn't enough. They need integrated systems to drive business results. Palantir positions itself as a solution to this problem by offering a unified platform that focuses on outcomes rather than individual tools. And of course, when times are great, then you might not be looking at your financials as much as when times are not that great. When times are not that great, you're going to look at margins and you would like to save your dollars everywhere you can, which is probably also why you're seeing Palantir being so successful more recently. We've had new contracts announced, for example, one with Wendy's, but it's not Wendy's directly the fast food restaurant that you know. No, it's actually Wendy's Quality Supply Chain Co-op. They announced they have partnered to accelerate digital transformation, AI adoption, and operational decision-making across the co-op. The co-op is an independent, not-for-profit cooperative that is second largest in the quick service restaurant industry with nearly $4 billion in buying power. Yes, it's part of the Wendy company. QSCC is the second largest purchasing cooperative in the quick service restaurant industry, services Wendy's more than 6,400 restaurants in the United States and Canada. There will be two phases. One, where they will be moving into Palantir's artificial intelligence platform, or AIP, to improve the scale and speed of decision-making across the co-op. Second phase, they will be using Palantir AIP for supply chain management and waste prevention, including dynamic inventory management, variance, and gain information for restaurants and demand deviation and allocation. And here again, we go back to what I mentioned before, or what the expert mentioned before. The more of those contracts, the more of those customers that you have, the more examples that you will be able to show, the more solutions that you will be able to show during those bootcamps, and attract many, many more customers in that specific industry. To end here, together with Palantir, we're unlocking the inherent power of the supply chain ecosystem to drive new and compelling sales and operating efficiencies that will provide Wendy's with a distinctive edge in the industry. The sophisticated and nimble AI-powered planning and fulfillment system we're developing will serve as the cornerstone for our state-of-the-art interconnected network. We then had another announcement between Palantir and Microsoft. They announced a significant advancement in their partnership to bring some of the most sophisticated and secure cloud AI analytics capabilities to the US defense and intelligence community. This is a first-of-its-kind integrated suite of technology that will allow critical national security missions to operationalize Microsoft best-in-class LLMs via Azure OpenAI service within Palantir's AIP in Microsoft government and classified cloud environment. That's a mouthful, to be honest. Palantir will deploy their suite of products, Foundry, Gotham, Apollo, and AIP, in Microsoft Azure Government and in the Azure Government Secret DoD Impact Level 6 and Top Secret clouds. Palantir will also be an early adopter of Azure's OpenAI service in Microsoft's secret and top secret environments. Again, Palantir, Microsoft, pretty good partnership, and this just goes to show you that it's still early days. We're talking a lot about the commercial side of things, but the government side of things is of course a side of with a lot of money, where spending on AI and software is still a small part of that over $800 billion budget. Continuing here on the government side of things, on August 9, it was announced that Palantir USG was awarded an $8 million contract for commercial AI mission control software and integration services in support of the 7th Air Force and 607th Air Operations Command. Work will be performed primarily in South Korea and is expected to be completed by August 8, 2025. Last part here, Palantir sends AI-fueled Titan prototype to Army. The first Titan was delivered to a base in Washington State just months after Palantir Technologies won a $178 million contract to build prototypes. I know most of you have probably seen the $1.5 billion headline, but that is not 100% accurate. More on that in a completely different video because this one has gone on for far too long. And so right now, looking at Palantir stock, as I said, despite the huge run-up in the last 2 weeks or so, the stock is not overbought just yet on the weekly. We have also gone through that $30, $29 resistance, which was basically a previous top here in September of 2021. So we're over that right now. But even if we look at the daily here, same thing, RSI, still not overbought despite that huge jump. Now, yes, there is a gap here, of course, there is a small gap here. Not all gaps get filled, but most of them do. So keep an eye out on that between $24, $25, $26 or so. I'm not saying we're going to dump all the way back there immediately, but just keep an eye on that gap. So overall, what happens next with Palantir? Well, stock is at $32, had a great run up. What will happen next? Well, to be honest, the market does seem like it is in a good mood. That said, stock is close to being overbought, not just yet. On the flip side, you have a business that is doing very, very well and accelerating revenues for commercial and government. So long-term investors, to be honest, sit on your hands, shouldn't really do nothing. If you have options, stuff like that, that's a different ball game. If you're trading, then of course, if you're up 50% in a week or so, then it's a successful trade, shouldn't be greedy, right? So there's no shame in taking profits. What am I doing? Absolutely nothing. No plans on selling any shares, just watching how this plays out in the long run. So that's about it for me in this video. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.